Welcome to Creepypasta. Please like, share and subscribe. This will help us make more content for you. Thank you.
Elevators freak me out. First off, I know this is nothing compared to other stories on here, but I chose to share, because why not? Before and after this incident, several other things did and continue to happen to me, strange things. I have just gotten used to it and have learned to appreciate them. So, this was when I was about 8, in 2001. My mom, brother, aunt and grandma had all traveled to Chicago to see Dinosaur Sue. We had been staying in a hotel nearby for about 5 days. It was very upscale, new, and overall very nice. Those entire 5 days, my mom would let me run ahead to the elevator, when returning to our room from swimming, getting ice, etc., and let me ride up alone, since our room was right to the left of the elevator when you got off, and my grandma would always have the door cracked. So, one day, on the way back from the pool, literally just got out, wet hair, suit, towel, I did the same, ran ahead and entered the elevator. Pressed the button for the 7th floor. There is only one elevator in this hotel, by the way. Once I got to the 7th floor, which I knew by the signs outside the elevator, I went to the second door to the left, like I had maybe 20 times before that week. I knocked and knocked. Nothing. I remember becoming weirdly alarmed at this point. Best way I can describe it. Even though I was smart enough to know I could always just return to the lobby, or that my mom would be arriving shortly. So while wondering why my grandma wasn't answering the door, I returned the few feet to the elevator. And waited for my mom and brother. I saw on the display that the elevator was arriving on floor 7, the floor I was on. Which was clearly written on the sign. I see the light and hear the elevator ding. The doors open, empty. At this point, I just feel something is very off, and return to the door, knocking and crying now, getting cold because I am still very wet from the pool. Finally, after no more than 1 minute, a very old woman answers the door and says, "Dear, I told you already yesterday, this is not your room." I had never been there yesterday. She then said, "It will be fine. I am very sorry, but I am on the phone with my son. Give it a few more minutes, your mother is coming." And freaking closed the door. I was shocked, I knew I was cute. And how could anyone close the door on a crying kid who lost their mother, especially a woman who seemed like the caring grandmother type? Almost immediately after she closed the door, the elevator opened, and my mom ran out crying and grabbed me. She was saying, "Oh honey, where were you? I have never been so worried." She then went to open the door. Not our room. She was stunned. The whole time I'm trying to explain I had been here. And my timeline of events had only been about 5 minutes. Her still hugging and holding me, she kinda just went into autopilot and went back into the elevator with me. She pressed 7 again. The doors closed super briefly and then reopened. The elevator didn't move at all. Once the door opened, we both saw my grandmother standing in the second door to the left, crying. And then very happy, running to hug us. Apparently, I had been missing for 45 minutes. Police were called, every floor had been gone to, they were still in the process of knocking on all doors, opening even locked, vacant rooms. Apparently, my mother had decided to once more go and look at the pool to see if I had returned there. Then, after seeing it empty, she took the same, only elevator back up to 7. Only this time, out of the multiple other times that day, she found me. Only this time, out of the multiple other times that day, she found me. And, not only that, we were clearly not in the elevator hiding out. As it was the only one. And the police and staff had gone up and down the elevator multiple times looking for me. We still talk about it to this day and can't explain it. My hair was still wet. The police were kinda pissed until the hotel staff pulled up the camera showing me getting on the elevator, but then never getting off. Then, what was the creepiest, was that when my mother got on from the lobby, you see her get on, then 10 minutes passed, and then she gets off at floor 7 with me in her arms. They went through all cameras, on all floors, which had very clear angles of the elevator on each floor. Nothing. I swear, the staff was freaked out, as were the police. They were almost convinced someone had taken me and then became freaked out and left me shortly after. They were stumped as to why my hair was still wet. But they couldn't refute the cameras, as they were high resolution, working correctly and everything. I have always wanted to call back and see if they still talk about it years later. I just don't want to mess with it. Because it's not like I even see the event as serving a purpose, you know? I have no clue who the woman was, nor was I ever able to identify her. Because for the investigation, even after they found me, they locked down the hotel and all possible exits and had a perimeter. Chicago does not frick around, by the way, with possible abductions. Every guest in the hotel was more than happy to help. Women from ages 50 on, all willingly let police take photos. Not one of them was the woman I saw. This woman had very blue eyes, like very. The only possible connection I can think of is that the woman and I had almost identical eyes. I have kinda a rare color for how dark my hair is.
Comments. The old lady in the room could be you in the future, maybe. Would explain why she knew your mother would come and pick you up, and why she didn't seem bothered. You knew it was best not to mess around with the timeline of your past self and played along. Not sure why she said you were there yesterday though, could be because she was experiencing déjà vu, perhaps.
Exactly. I kinda wonder this too. But feel weird assuming such a crazy thing. Things we can't explain blow my mind. This is a great theory. I just don't get why. So glad I found this sub.
She was the you that took the elevator to that floor and couldn't escape. You're the one that broke the loop.
Your story is incredible. You mentioned that strange things happen to you often. Can you share them?
Of course. They are nothing compared to this really, just little event here and there. The good part about this happening is that my mom and grandma never questioned me again when such things would happen. When I was 8 and in grade school, I was sitting in class when all of a sudden my friend next to me said, "Hey, look at that man on the sidewalk," pure boredom here. Seeing a human outside the school was very exciting. I turned and looked. Right as I did, the man blew me a kiss and walked off down the street. It was my grandpa. I was like, what the hell? After school, I was picked up by a friend's parent and taken straight to gymnastics. When I got home, I was about to tell my parents I saw Papa Al, when my dad told me to sit down. Very nonchalant, I said, "It's Grandpa Al, isn't it?" My parents were horrified. Even my dad, very strong Catholic, no BS, left the room. Apparently, my grandpa, very healthy, had a stroke on the highway and had died that day. To me this is more paranormal, but I will post others. This is just one of many. Through the years I have come to think I get these feelings and these weird things happen, due to the fact that maybe it's because I have severe ADD, like not the whole, I can't focus stuff. And I have always been very creative and written songs since I could speak, some creepy stuff too, when I was too young to even know what it meant. Another event that comes to mind, most recent, is when I was 18. Normal night completely, at my parents' house. It was about 11:30. My parents had a very large house in a gated community, so crime was non-existent there. As I was putting the popcorn bowl in the sink, I got this terrifying feeling that someone was watching me through the window. I was so scared I was afraid to move. I ran and made sure the back door was locked. I immediately went into the living room and told my mom, since she now knew I wasn't kidding. I freaked her out. The feeling passed after about 20 minutes. But I was scared and refused to go into the kitchen. Next day, my mom is freaking out and tells me an elderly woman down the street was brutally attacked and robbed. They had watched her for hours before, and broken in through the window above the kitchen sink. She was okay, but the whole ordeal lasted about 20 minutes.
Do you have a creepy story? Please share it with us in the comments, and we will post it on the channel. Please subscribe. Thank you.